We are going with the hashtag boycott Hamilton.
Hamilton?
No, Hamilton. The famous play Hamilton.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
I don't...
Old famous guy Hamilton.
I don't goddamn understand why the trending hashtag for the whole Mike Pence Hamilton thing, which we'll get to later in the show, is boycott Hamilton. But why correct the large bullheaded monster that is the internet? It knows what it's doing.
Follow the trend, baby.
It gives me porn and Amazon packages. You know, it does its job. This is the Papa's Basement Show. I'm John Papa Giorgio, joined by co-host and producer Pete Maybe.
The lovely Pete Maybe.
And today on mic number 3, the very anonymous John Barry, who wanted me to call him John B, but it sounds too similar to John P. So you're John Barry.
It's probably my government clearance I'm a little concerned about.
Okay, yeah.
This isn't the first time we've had JB in the room.
Oh, we had
a little bit of
James Brown, the NFL guy?
Nope.
Jim Brown, the old Browns running back?
The wrong JB.
Okay. Jack Black?
Jailbait.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, we had her in this room, and then your house, and then the car.
She was just doing the show. She was playing third mic.
Yeah.
Sitting right between us.
3 inputs for 3 mics. God bless her. Show's website, inpapasbasement.com. Go there for every... Oh, we were talking about Butters. Butters is very legal, and we didn't F her.
I wasn't. I'm just kidding.
Okay. I was going to say, yeah.
Rest in peace, Butters.
We're not the Colonel from Boogie Nights. We haven't sodomized, you know. We're not, what's Roman Polanski? We haven't sodomized any 13-year-olds in any hot
Yeah,
pools,
we don't take any
tubs.
people if they're wearing roller skates.
Well, speak for yourself on
Yeah,
that one.
I'm not on that, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. I'm more on checking their ID, but sure, you draw the line at roller skates.
Yeah, just look at what they're wearing.
Yeah,
I think plausible deniability would hold up in court.
that's true, yeah.
They didn't have roller skates on. I don't know what to tell you.
So look up Papa's Basement, iTunes, and Stitcher. You can find the show there. Subscribe, leave ratings. That's a great thing. And subscribe on YouTube. Again, just P-A-P-A-S, no double P. We're no fancy pappies here, just a Papa. We will, again, get to Mike Pence and his Hamilton encounter, which will be completely forgotten news. You're indicating I should look over at the other studio, John Barry. What is going on?
He is also standing.
Oh, is he?
We've started a trend.
Oh, there's a standing host in the other studio who I can't see through the window, but I can see the 2 chicks he's standing in front of, and
Who seem absolutely mesmerized.
yeah, really, they are looking at him like a Christ figure right now. My God,
He's got a very tight undershirt on.
oh, is that it? Okay.
We can't see the lower half, so it might be pretty exciting.
So the real big news in the country, by the way, is this past Wednesday, me, Pete Maybe over here, Pedro Maybeo,
That is me.
when you perform on Univision, and one Othman Bouchereb, who is not on the show right now, but he is still alive and well for those of you concerned.
OB.
That's the OPP podcast, correct?
Exactly. The
POP.
or Popcast, which they foolishly wanted to call it very incorrectly. When you can call anything OPP, you do, but these dunces wanted to call it the Pop Show, like it was dedicated to balloon rupturing.
It just wouldn't have been the same.
No, it really wouldn't have. But we did our first stand-up show. We performed live at the DC Improv as part of our graduation show. We did the DC Improv comedy class, which was a modest $355.
Mm-hmm.
And you sit for 4 hours watching your 13 classmates
Yes.
perform
we
their
do.
sets for 5 minutes. It's called
The-
5 Minutes to Funny.
I was gonna say it's called 5 Minutes to Funny.
Yeah,
Hosted by Chris Kochia.
Chris Kochia. He was our teacher. I followed Chris, by the way, on Twitter, and I'm very upset because I have more Twitter followers than Chris, and he has not followed me back. And I'm like, I know you're not trying to big time, but you know what would convince me of that? If you followed me back.
Big time.
And John, that was one of your concerns, right? About following him before the course was over.
Yeah. I didn't want to make things a little weird because not that I have like any great fan base. I just spent entirely too much time on Twitter when I was younger. Like much less when I was, or much like when I was much younger, I couldn't get the hell off AIM. Like if I could have channeled every woman that I sexted after doing the ASL pick thing, like I would have 20 to 30,000 followers on Twitter.
John, for everyone who's not 73, what's ASL on AIM?
Oh, you never.
Oh, I do.
Oh,
100%. I'm just helping out the audience.
You're a good man. Age, sex, location, and pick. This was back in the early days of the internet where pictures online, like a scanned photo of you, was like as rare as a Civil War family having a picture. Like you had to sit still for 15 minutes and then you got a copy of it like on acetate.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I did a lot of trolling that way for the puzz.
Successfully?
As the kids are calling it. Yeah, oh yeah, I got very laid off of AIM. I got my cherry popped off of AIM.
Wow.
My very first lay was a girl I met on AIM. Pete, what the hell are you doing, sir?
I'm not seeing any video on the YouTube. That doesn't really concern anybody that's listening to the audio. However, I wanted you guys to keep kind of rolling because I'm getting a blank screen.
Well,
here.
John,
It's working fine. It's feeding here.
Okay.
Oh, did I not hit start broadcast?
No. You did. It's probably over here.
Oh
on
yeah,
my
yeah.
end.
No, I see the one viewer. Hi, Nate.
I think it's maybe just Pete's that vein that he draws some sort of power from seeing himself on his own computer.
That's the only way he can achieve.
Okay.
This is true.
Yeah, he's the only man with a mirrored ceiling who watches himself.
That's why I had to get a laptop with a webcam. It just shows me just jerking
Right
off.
back at
Like,
it.
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
just keeps going. It's an infinite loop. It's kind of a nesting doll.
Anyone
jerking off.
anyone he's ever had cam sex with, they're like, "Can you see me?" He's like, "I don't care." You're missing the point.
Why do you think that's important?
Yeah.
Just can you see
You don't
me?
know how this works.
Can you see me?
So
Tell me how I look.
we had a legit show at the Improv, which you were kind enough to attend, by the way. You're pretty much the only person I told about it. I told a few other people, and then I forgot I told them and didn't give them details, and you were the one person that followed up.
It was as an audience member, it was totally legitimate. I've been to the Improv multiple times, and what you guys did was impressive. It was intimidating from my end. But tell us about it. Tell me.
Well, I can say that I've been to some of these before. I've been to 2 of these before.
Yeah, you guys are both bigger comedy people than me.
I've gone and checked out other people's, and to jerk my own D, ours was probably one
off
of the
camera.
One of the best one. No, as soon as I could see the picture, I'm bringing it out.
Okay.
Ours was probably. I felt like we actually had a really strong group.
And Pete, you're saying it's compared to other
5
classes.
minutes of funny.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, you've watched other grad classes?
I have.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I have. Several months ago, I saw one. This lady named Susan that I met at actually one of our writing classes.
Okay.
This is actually where we first met, and she did all right. But there were several people where it was like I felt like in ours, nobody just walked off stage or like said like, "Oh, this isn't working."
Well,
bye.
if the standard
But
is
that
staying on
totally
stage
happened.
for 5 minutes, yeah,
that totally happened.
we have
at the other
14
one.
homers in a row.
Yeah, we did pretty good, man. It was really good. Also, they did it in the small room, so I think we got pretty lucky using the big room.
Oh, we were on the legit stage. Like I smelled the carpet, and like there was Chappelle, there was Chris Rock in that.
Oh, you could get DNA samples in that
Yeah,
green
exactly.
room. I guarantee you.
DC Improv is one of the, the mainstays of stand-up comedy around the country. The biggest names come there. It's certainly the place to be in this area.
100%.
How much did they pay you?
I got in free, all right? My first 2 drinks. I didn't have to pay for any of that stuff.
All right, where's Allison?
But yeah, it was a trip, man. I have talked about doing stand-up, I think legitimately, oh God, maybe age 21 is when I first started trying to get, on AIM. I would mention casually, like, one of these days I'm going to do stand-up. And that was enough to...
ASL pick, is your father a booking agent?
Exactly. ASL pick, is this Mitzi Shore? If so, show me where Paulie nursed. Yeah, and I think at 23, I started having a friend, especially I recall Gavin McDonald, one of those good friend/frenemy guys who like really motivated me by legit, like would call me out for not doing that, and I didn't. And then he called me a fat ass, and I did get in shape. So at least he was 1 for 2 with his his angry German father motivation technique. And then I think at 25, maybe the day before I turned 26, I went with some friends and did some open mic crap, and got a laugh, but just wasn't good. And
where were you doing an open mic? Because it couldn't have been anything that held a candle to where you were just at.
No, it was, I believe, just a horrible club name like Chuckles or something like that. It was in the basement of the Best Western.
Yes, in Tyson's
Corner. Yeah. What was it? We had the name previously, and now I'm forgetting it.
I think it was something like Chuckles. I
Yeah.
saw Doug Stanhope there probably 10 years ago, and it was
Wow.
before. I was so dumb. I didn't know that he was as good as he was, and
Yeah.
it didn't click for me. And for whatever reason, he said after the show, come up and say hi, whether you liked me, didn't like me. I was the one guy that went up and told him I didn't like him. And I
nice.
still regret that to this day, just as like a total scumbag 25-year-old douche move.
Oh no! What did you say about Douglas?
I
You're not as
remember
funny as Jerry
'cause it was
Seinfeld.
scarred into my brain. I told him he was bass, and he said, well, bass is kind of what I do. And I said,
bass.
and I said, you're
Jesus Christ! Were you pulled up to the stage on a litter? Like,
Yeah. Who says it as a
did
25-year-old?
they
Look,
throw
I was
the
drunk,
roses
I'm an
in
ass.
front of you, like coming to America?
He did call me an effing jerk off as I walked away, and everyone
I
in
want
line
legitimate
behind me,
criticism.
everyone in line
F
behind
you.
me was going to kiss the ring.
Yeah.
Belly laughed, and I walked away with my tail between my legs. Ian Allen, remember Ian? He was
Yeah.
with me.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing like
Not
Dutch
to be
courage.
completely weird, he died, right?
Yeah, super dead.
Okay.
Extremely dead.
I don't know why I'm laughing at it.
Stanhope killed him.
Yeah. Wow. Him and
You
Bingo.
probably told him he was bass.
Yeah. Ian's dead. That's why we're laughing.
That
No.
is that is quite impressive though.
It's not impressive. I was an ass.
No, I still think that you weren't like a bully about it. You weren't like, yeah,
No.
I'm just gonna make fun of him. I'm gonna be completely honest with this guy. It doesn't happen a whole lot.
Because it shouldn't.
Yeah, it probably shouldn't. I mean,
I wouldn't have the balls to do that. I will say that. I mean, it was coming from a place of assishness, but I mean, I
did it though?
I don't tell guys at McDonald's that they screwed up my fillet of fish.
How did you feel about it?
So at the time, I truly did not like his performance. And
let's be honest. For those that don't know Doug Stanhope, he's brilliant, but he is, by his own admission, a alcohol and drug addict. So there are probably, especially 10 years ago when he maybe wasn't as honed,
yes,
where he could have gone on stage and you would have just been like, who is this homeless man
Yeah.
that like stole the suit off of Ian Allen's corpse?
I'm sure it could have been. He was cremated. I'm sure it could have been.
So he was naked and smeared in ashes. No.
So I will say that I appreciate you, Pete, trying to save me a little and give me a little bit of credit for what I was doing.
Yeah.
It probably all falls apart when we then went to Chris Del Grosso's house in Reston, got super drunk, and then called that particular Best Western, where Stanhope was not staying under an assumed name.
Oh,
And we
nice.
prank called him at 3 a.m. and told me he had a bunch of blow, and he asked him if he wanted to come do blow with us. And he said, guys, I'm tired. I got to go to bed. Not my finest.
Oh, that is a tight dude. Not angry,
is
just like, look,
amazing.
it's 3 a.m. Cocaine ends at 11, gents. I'm not as young as I once was.
But
Wow.
so that was my experience with Chuckles. Probably a little different than your open
Mhm.
mic night experience.
Now, was Chuckles always there? Was that one of those roaming?
It was old.
Always
It
there.
was old as hell. There was no wall left. It was just like pictures of, like John Cryer and crap on the walls and stuff like that. Just old as hell comedians.
It wasn't. Was it a repurposed room? I'm sorry, we're like hashing
Yes.
onto something that's like
Yes.
10 years old, but it's,
Oh, it's still around. I mean,
No, Hut closed like 8 years ago or some junk.
okay.
Yeah, it is no more. I'm trying to remember what the hell its real name was, but we'll just keep making them up on the fly.
I promise it was something close to Chuckles.
It was not a brilliant name.
No.
Yeah. It was not something along the lines like brevity is the soul of wit or
Right.
anything like that. It's yeah.
yeah, because well, our 25s were a bit different, probably about 10 years apart. Because I spent my 25s. You looked so sad when I said that. I'm sorry. Because my 25s were spent doing hanging out at the Arlington Cinema and Draft House,
Okay.
and we didn't. I don't know. They had a fair amount of good comedians. I think that they get a really good pull of comedians now, but I think they didn't get any big ones back then.
Chuckle or the Ha Ha Hut strikes me as a place back then that someone who performed at Arlington Cinema and Draft House or performed at the DC Improv who hadn't made it, didn't have the name, and figured I'll get a couple $100 on my way out of town and perform at this one on a Sunday night or something after I've done the weekend somewhere more legitimate.
Oh, so like after they drop their deuce, Like that's where they just threw the toilet paper,
Yes.
and then they flushed and left DC.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I'm down with it. It did not seem like the most bumping venue. I went there a lot for open mics, like just looking at contempt at all the performers. Like I saw one or two I thought were funny, but I just wanted to be like, I'm funnier than you, but I didn't have the balls to go up. Like I would just take chicks that I wanted to bang there and be like, I'm vaguely associated with comedy. Now drop them. So
from what you can remember, can you tell us what happened in your first open mic?
sure, I went up with two friends, my roommate and a friend, I don't know, another guy.
Did you guys share a mic?
No, they sat there. They were just for support.
I was actually with Pete for a second. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow, that's
I was
unorthodox.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
We did it. We started with a doo-wop thing.
Little three-headed monster.
It killed.
Played a little magic on stage.
Yeah. It was a bit, if I recall, the ending was about how much I jerked off, and then I
Always kills.
Yeah, I forgot that I had the show, so I went on stage without having washed my hands, and the person after me enjoy holding the mic. And to like three strangers in the audience, they kind of like one person chuckled and the other two, like there was no like backstage, so I just had to walk past them to my picture of Miller Lite
to where your table was near the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that's bad. I've heard way worse than open mics.
Yeah,
it can be a little cringy, right?
I did all right, but it wasn't like, it was what we saw out of, let's be honest, not everyone was an all-star during our performances. It was that kind of week where it sounds like, oh, this guy isn't having a conversation with me where I laugh back. I mean, no one was getting laughs. Goddamn open mic with three people. But you could tell it was like a little turd rushing through a monologue he wrote up on a piece of paper. It reeked of that.
I memorized this. I'm going to forget it at any second.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just getting it out.
Exactly.
God, I hope that's not how mine looked.
No, it really.
I think we'll see later tonight.
It was like me regurgitating on a test, Seventh Amendment. John Quincy Adams. Did you ever do that where you would, honest to God, jam so much crap in your head that your first thing wasn't cracking the test open? It was just finding a sheet
in a corner.
of blank paper. Yeah, and just being like, da 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 da. Okay, I can forget that now.
John, you and I think had similar Fairfax County public education experiences where probably could have done a little better, but knew exactly what kind of half-assed effort we had to give to do just fine.
I didn't care about anything scholastically.
So you would memorize the things, you would write the 7 things you remembered in the corner in the margin. And then if, angels shone down upon you and that actually was on the test, nailed it.
Oh, I mean, like after the test was done, like my mom could have asked me what was it about, and it would be like asking a cocker spaniel, like, tell me about Nietzsche. He just staring there like, where's the hot dog? Where's my kibble? That's it. You got no idea. Like I would look at these test results like 2 days later. I'm like, I did this? Like something worked through me. You know what I mean? It wasn't, I was Whoopi Goldberg possessed by Patrick Swayze. I wasn't doing anything of my own accord.
I appreciate the ghost reference.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. So I did okay. Like back when I was 26, and I consoled myself with the fact, apparently, I think Jon Stewart performed at 25 and freaked out so hard he didn't do it again until 26. So I did that times 10.
Yeah.
And I did
just waited a little longer.
Yeah,
It's not a big deal.
exactly. And about 30, I'm 35 now. And we're talking with Othman one time, and he was just like, I live stand-up, kind of like you guys, more so. He's like, I go to the Improv all the time. I'm like, hey, do you know about computer porn? That's my scene. And I was like, you know what? We'll cough up the cash. We will do the stand-up class.
And in Othman's case, you really did cough up the cash.
Yeah. I spotted a friend. I was like, I'm not going to let anyone weasel out. Like I would have spotted.
Nice to be with company, because we did weasel out actually.
Oh, we skipped it earlier in the year, I think.
We had originally signed up for this, I think 6 months prior.
And we were just like $350 to be forced just to do some open mic. Like this is BS. You know what? Come on, guys. We're not that undisciplined. We're going to go to some open mics. We're going to do, and we are that.
And then 6 months later,
with zero open mics under your belt,
nothing
under our belt, we said, well,
not 10
it's probably that
seconds
time
of a set written. I was like, okay, you know what? I am that piece of S. Here's my money. You like it? There you go.
It just needs some structure, really.
Yeah, and we went, and we had our showcase after 4 weeks of performing and honing, and the three of us would hang after class. Like, we took it very seriously. And I mean,
Okay, I didn't take it
you
too seriously.
I was cutting you some slack. You were a piece of ass that skipped it like it was the test.
I showed up for one class and then I showed up for another one, but I didn't stay long enough to perform. So I just watched people perform.
So Pete picked up the syllabus and then showed up on the exam day.
No, he treated it like a starting wide receiver for the team. Like, he was not to be bothered, and he wasn't going to fail.
A couple of toe touches, a jumping jack. Let's do this.
Exactly.
Willie Mays Hayes, baby.
Yeah. You punked out. I took it seriously like a citizenship test.
You did, and I loved that because, like, you going into it, you had such fervor for just getting this done, and you really want to do stand up. And I'm still not like 100% sold on that. I did like the class, but I'm a Nancy guy, and when you're
a Nancy guy, I know.
When you put me in a room for like 3.5 hours and tell me for 3 hours and 15 minutes, I just have to watch somebody.
You act like I wasn't given
my mind.
elephant doses of Dexedrine to get through high school. Like, I'm antsy as hell too, but I sucked it up.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
I would I would live, watch the scores of the Redskins games. One time I accidentally hit watch live, and like during someone's set, you just, heard like touchdown Cousins. You're like, oh, okay.
That doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, let's turn this off very quickly.
I don't think you heard that.
No. Yeah, that's very true. Interception.
Yeah.
Intended target Garcon.
Tell me, when you guys are going through that, and like Pete just said, where you're sitting there on a Sunday for 3.5 hours, for all intents and purposes, as Pete said, 3 hours and 15 minutes of that time, you could be there, you could be outside, you could be nowhere, it doesn't matter. You're only there, you're only maybe benefiting from those few minutes. Are you able to get anything from watching the other people go, and is it helpful? Can it even be hurtful to watch the other people go?
You go first or me?
I was going to say John can field that because he was there.
Yeah,
I was not.
That's right. Syllabus exam.
However, I did feel like there was some parts where I could learn a little bit. I tried not to pay too much attention to it. Also, I get into my head where I just want to know my set. And when I'm supposed to listen intently to another person's set and give them feedback, I'm just remembering their stuff now. And it got to a point where I was like remembering people's lines, and I didn't want to actually have that in my brain. I didn't want to remember anybody's lines. To me, that's not important. I need to remember the lines I did
think it was weird during the live performance
that I gave all your jokes.
Yeah, exactly. You closed with, "I am a sassy Latina." It's like, where did that come from?
And that's why I'm a locksmith. Yeah. Thank you, guys. It's been a good night.
It was... Okay, look, I'm going to be very honest about what I am. I was very conceited for the most part. So even as I wasn't doing anything particularly special, you still want to be like, I'm funnier than that. I don't need to learn anything here. You get out of it what you get out of it, because I feel most of us were bullheaded too, to some degree. So you could give someone advice, but do they want to take it? Do they want a set that sounds a little more like yours? I can only, at this point, kind of write for me. Like, I can be funny, and I can write using your material. I can write like jokes within the realm of that material. Like Pete over here, told a story about getting a Latina over to his place. Dismemberment.
It got close to it. Yeah, but it was a first date experience.
And so I can write jokes about, going out on a date with a Latin chick or getting ready for a date, but it's going to have like my sound to it to some degree. Like, it's on him then to maybe rewrite it or alter it.
Exactly. And I'm like, I don't know that word. It's really big.
Yeah.
John, that doesn't sound natural coming out of my mouth.
Sodomy.
I'm going to pronounce that
syllables.
Wrong. Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't know. You felt like if someone didn't want to hear your crap, like a lot of people were doing different sets each week. So what the hell do I care to give you advice if you're not even doing the same thing?
What sort of criticism are you giving? Because like you just said, you can give someone I think a spin on their material.
Yeah, it could feel too personal, I feel, because like we're all just little piss ants in this comedy world. So like your teacher, Chris, was like, probably stand-up vet of like 20 years or some junk.
Right.
And I'm paying him a lot of money. So if Chris is like, I have this insight, this insight, this insight, A, he's in a position of authority. B, I gave him moolah. C, like he's been doing it forever. So I'm like, cool, yeah, I'll roll with what you said, man. But like if some anus was like, I think this would be funnier, half the time I want to be like, no, it ain't. Next person.
But would people say that?
Yes.
They would be that specific as
oh,
you
yeah.
should change this line to that line.
Yeah. Or
whatever.
like you should say this, or you can say this. And I would just be like, I'm paying a lot of money to go on that stage for 5 goddamn minutes. Like I wish for every other minute of this, I could go out in the lobby and smoke like my son's getting born in here and it's 1958. Like I want to watch some good leather helmet football on the black and white and yeah, call it a day.
But no, it did get the little bit I saw, I think on the 4th week where people were saying like, well, this could be funnier. Yeah, take it with a grain of salt because I felt like I didn't learn a lot from that. Now it wasn't directed at me, but I mean, it would be something.
Yeah, because you weren't there.
It would be something as extreme of like he said, I was talking about a Latina chick, and they'd be like, well, would Italian girl be funnier? Like I felt like that was the kind of feedback I would get.
I didn't like
as far as they would change the
one
jokes.
Bigoted fellow going, how about making her a Chinese?
Right?
That didn't really happen.
He didn't help.
Yeah.
I felt like that part wasn't helpful. I felt like having the interaction, one, being on stage, and then two with Chris was really great. As far as everybody else in the
going
class,
on stage was great, and doing it with friends was fun. Like them in the audience, guys. Like I know where they're coming from, and I respect their sense of humor. And to the people that took it seriously, I cared when they said, like, if your sense of humor clicked with mine and you had something to say, I'm like, cool, I dig that. But there were a lot of people where your sense of humor didn't click with theirs, or you could tell they didn't give a damn. And so if they were like critiquing, you'd kind of just be like, oh, this is like worse than nothing.
Yeah.
Like
that's not what the joke's about, guys.
Actively detrimental to me performing something. So yeah, like I don't know how they could structure it a bit better, but really it was just paying $350 to get shoved on the improv stage 4 times and then being forced to do the showcase, which you saw Wednesday night, where our teacher did 20 minutes to warm up the crowd. And then they just shoved us out one by one.
Which personally, and I love Chris, I think was a really long time because we didn't mention this. I was the starter, and I'm pretty sure that was on purpose because he hated me for not showing up. I feel like
it's not because he hated you. If you didn't show up, he could have cut you without batting an eye.
Oh, it didn't. Yeah, it wouldn't change the lineup whatsoever.
Yeah,
I totally.
Molly, who was number 2, would now be number 1, and
exactly.
Othman, who missed 2 of the 4 classes, I think. He was number 3. And I don't think it's not that you guys did poorly. You both did pretty well. I don't think those really options for you as warm-ups, though, or, openers, was because he thought you were going to do well.
No, I'm pretty sure he thought I wasn't going to show up.
Yeah, exactly. Like the 2 people he was most worried about were you 2.
Did I?
Oh, yeah. You can summarize that and just remember that I'm the guy that runs this show when you do your summary.
How was the order determined?
He said it was random.
He said
so when you showed up that night, he just said
no. He sent it out. I think then it was the night before, right?
It was like 2 days prior, and he said it's going to be boy, girl, boy, girl.
That's right. I was in New York.
I think our class was legit 7 and 7. Yeah, exactly. So when they put us all in a line, we could fit together the way God intended. Yeah, I don't. It was just that, and then they put the slackers up front. I think the people that
I wouldn't say the slackers.
No, you
Molly
did fine.
No, because Molly was there the whole time.
No, the 2 boy slackers. Like I don't think any of the chicks played hooky. It was just like elementary school.
I think we may have gotten front loaded as far as the people that were playing hooky.
And then I was the male closer. What?
Yeah.
I was.
And then I showed him.
I was there to clean up. So
you did good. Yeah. John almost closed the show.
I almost, there was it went boy, girl. So there was a girl after me.
With extremely high pants.
Yes. Yeah.
It was off-putting.
Anna Grace. It was, she wore that outfit week 4. I did
2 in a row. Come on, girl.
I did get insight into just how much more work women have to put into their appearance, because I think everyone that performed week 4, like class number 4, wore that same outfit. So like to them, it wasn't just I'm performing. It was, I'm going to see what outfit works on stage. So I respect that.
Point of clarity. I guess you were saying the female comics in your class planned their outfits, put some thought into it. Raise your, well, as a radio medium.
Mhm.
Were both of you gentlemen wearing hoodies on stage?
Yes,
Oh,
we
absolutely.
were.
Okay, just checking. Just want to make that clear
We
for the
talked
audience.
about it before we even
Yeah.
got in there. We're like, so I guess we're just wearing hoodies, right?
Yeah, I had my Belichick tuxedo, as I call it.
I looked exactly like this.
Yeah, you had the same hat
So
on, right?
you guys, anybody on the YouTube, 'cause you're basically looking at my set.
I wore the hoodie because I didn't want it to like hold in my gut, which I kind of can do, but I have like really prominent nipples too, which like look like peer through any t-shirt. And
Now that's all I can look at.
yeah, exactly. Oh, it's great. Like
Locked on.
You
Great.
each get one. Yeah. So I was like, I want those hidden on stage and I'll put on the hoodie, but I was hot as a bastard because of the hoodie. So during my performance, you see me wiping sweat, and it was not a nerves thing. Like I was in the hoodie for about 20 minutes prior, and the entire time prior, I was like soaking through the elbow
I was
of it.
very hot.
Yeah, it was, well, because those goddamn stage lights are just trained on you. So it's like at least 7 degrees hotter on stage. So like I actually felt very comfortable on stage, but I was sweating my balls off.
That is strange because I was in the audience, I had my feet up, had a drink with some ice in it. I was,
Nice.
I was very comfortable.
You're having a gale
Very
time.
comfortable.
Yeah.
I never got nervous once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Yeah, the nerves, I felt some nerves waiting in the wings. Like when the other chick, who was it that was before me? Your smoking buddy?
Denise.
Denise. Yeah, Denise was on stage. And
When do we talk about Burke?
oh, we can talk about whoever and by name.
Sorry, Denise.
I don't give a damn. Yeah, so I don't know, you opened. You described the show, man. You were in the audience.
So-
we just sat around and
I
Yeah.
was, I would try to be respectful, but I don't care. So I was surprised by the size of the audience.
okay.
There was a really good turnout.
We were not told it was going to be that big, by the
It
way.
was great.
Yeah.
It was
Very good
described as
turnout.
like you're going to get a third of the house probably, and
Oh, no.
it was full house. It looked like
Yeah.
legit. Yeah.
I thought the people that showed up at 7 were the people that were going to be there.
Yes, exactly.
100%. Yeah. So which was like
Which
15,
was a smaller number.
Yeah, it's maybe
Okay.
15, 20 people.
Yeah, because I got there just about 7:30.
Yeah.
Got a seat. Your teacher, Chris, I got right up.
Mhm.
Did his set. I guess you guys hadn't heard him do much stand-up to that point. Is that true?
We had not heard
Not
anything.
at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seasoned pro. Clearly had been doing it forever.
Yeah. Comfortable as hell on stage.
Did his 20 minutes and then made sure that the crowd was into it. I was a little confused because it seemed like he at times didn't know that we knew what we were there for.
Yeah. There are people that come off the street kind of for it,
Really? Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
Like they think it's a soup kitchen. I don't know.
But I just thought that as a
I think that
improv-
has happened.
Yeah. Well, what brought you to your previous class graduation ceremony?
Actually, I think one is because I knew it was going on. Then 2, I was invited by a person.
Was that Susie or something?
Yeah, was that Susan?
Okay.
But I also think that people do invite their friends, and I think he just has to kind of nail it home to say like, listen, don't be an icy prick.
Yeah, low expectations,
just-
clap like a seal.
Yeah,
Oh.
just be cool. Don't just laugh for your friend. Laugh for everybody.
Yeah.
So
I didn't have that problem.
you didn't bring anybody.
So Chris got off, and then I was surprised. I didn't know the order, obviously.
Yeah.
And first man up, Pete Maybe, got right up there, and it's. I'm gonna ask you what the experience was like because, like John was saying, you got the house lights. I mean, you are on the DC Improv main stage where Geraldo and Chappelle and Attell and Burr and everybody has been before.
I'm so
Rico
glad.
Suave was there.
I'm so glad I didn't talk to you before the show. Yeah, man. How does it feel to be with all those people who are
Again,
super professional?
Icy drink in the crowd, very.
They
very
never
calm.
screw up. It's amazing. How do you feel? You look really hot in that sweater. I felt pretty good. I felt like I never really lost my nerves, but there were times that it went through my head that I was like, holy crap. I'm like, I'm not missing a beat. And I like got really excited because and I think I got really
and
into
then
it.
just loudly farted.
I think that when I get excited, and and I think that I allowed myself to like be a little bit more animated, and I did a little bit less jumping around than I have normally done on stage. Because like normally when I'm out there, I'm very
We call you House of Pain.
very anxious, yeah, and I kind of jump around.
Well, you're a Nancy guy.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that it went over pretty well. I thought maybe it was Chris, maybe everybody was just fired up from that, but I felt like it went over pretty well. And I'm ready to look at the tape again and be like, oh my God, you looked really nervous. So
If you weren't there on the previous Sunday classes, how did you prepare? Because you, as the audience member, there was no noticeable, oh, this guy hasn't done the prep.
He's not ready. Yeah,
have.
right.
Correct.
Well, that's
Not
great.
like the Indian doctor.
You know, people will be listening to this, sir.
They don't know me. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's say you're an audience member. You're entitled to your opinion. I basically at every cigarette just performed it, and I did it actually a couple times in this studio with John. Several times, and finally, and I think I actually came up with the ending, what, like 3 days before? Because, by the way, I think my set probably ran a little bit long. I'm sure nobody notices the difference between 5.5 and 6.5 minutes. But if you were to originally look at my first set, I stopped at maybe 7 minutes, and I still had maybe 3 minutes to talk about.
Yeah,
and
that was
so
the big critique for him. He had a set, and I would just be like, "It's 5 goddamn minutes to funny."
Cut it.
Dunce. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I was really concerned actually that they were gonna kick me off stage, and I just had to like kind of suck it up and be like, oh well, if anybody wants to hear the rest of the story, I'll be out there, because I obviously haven't honed my skill enough to do this 5 minutes set here. But they let me do it, and I was really happy about that. But I performed basically either for myself when I would go out and smoke a cigarette, or in front of John. And then I also was driving to New York on Monday, and then drove back Tuesday. So I had 4 hours in the car by myself, and I was like, you know what? Because I had actually considered not doing the show before that. I mean, obviously, based off of my appearances, that would be likely.
And if you want to know what kind of friend I am, I was multiple times like, dude, if you've skipped it this many times, that's just your subconscious talking about what you want to do. Skip it. Just skip it. You paid. It's a sunk cost.
So big ups to Othman for being like, hey, you should actually do this.
Yeah, the angel on his shoulder.
So thanks a lot, John, for joining me in the class, but
yeah,
Othman for pushing me into it. Not just kidding. No, you also did, but you were cool about it. Like both him and were just like, any way you want to do it, man. So maybe you'll regret it, and if you don't want to do it, nobody's going to pressure you into doing it. But yeah, I practiced by myself, and I think the 4.5 hour car ride probably helped.
And if you're doing it every cigarette break, that's what?
Oh God,
40 times a day.
Oh, black lung over here. Yeah.
I fell asleep the night before, saying it in my head
with a burning cigarette on your.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yep.
You fell asleep like Slash in the Lies video.
I did.
Top hat and cigarette.
And now
on,
I have no house.
Boa on your bare chest. Yeah. So he opened. Othman goes number 3. I'm actually looking forward to seeing video of it, because I missed a lot of the sets. Like I went out for a couple times. I was taking little nervous peepees. I was also filled with like a decongestant. So I think any ounce of water that went in me, I was like pretty much by the end of it, I was pissing out my bones. So at one point we run to the car to get my meds. I was going out to get glasses of water. So I missed several of the acts. So I do want to see them, because it seemed like everyone had their act together. Like a lot of these people week 4 were like by minute 2 reading off of a piece of paper, or like, I think I'm going to go here with it next. And you're like, there is no other class. Get your act together.
This is the last one.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah. And they all, from what I saw, like no one really, the standard, here's what I'm judging people by. No one ate S.
Do I have to be nice?
Don't name names, I guess. Just say like this act, that act. That might be better.
Okay.
I did share our info.
I don't. Yeah.
I do want to be comedy friends with all these people.
Okay.
So
yeah. You can say someone ate ass, but then like don't describe their clothing or something.
You marked
like
the other one, didn't you?
It'll stay in though. I'm too lazy to edit it out. Yeah.
I think no one was in over their head. I watched every single one. I didn't get up once. Everyone looked like they belonged, if that makes sense. Some were obviously stronger than others. Some probably had some more work to do, or should never get on a stage again. But other than that, everyone was a polished,
I know, man.
solid act.
I can take a hint.
They were describing Allison, who runs the DC Improv School, and Chris were describing incidents where people got S-faced before doing their set and would, honest to God, like a needle jerked on the record, just say the same line over and over, and they would have to go
with
and
the audience.
Pull them out, like what is it, Rescue Dawn or something? The movie about the downed pilot. They'd have to go out and drag the carcass back.
I'll also say too, it's easy for me to critique because again, I was in the audience.
Very chilly situation.
Right. I don't have the balls to get up there and do it.
Yeah. So that I guess to break the nervousness down a little bit or just keep things more manageable. And because I'm very ADD, like
Quaaludes.
Yeah, exactly. Quaaludes and poppers. Because I perform best with a dilated anus. I was in and out of the room ceaselessly. And then because I had 12 people to go before me. So it was like easily an hour performance. And then when the person before you goes up, you kind of hop into through the green room. There's this little tunnel that leads to the stage, and you hop in there, you give a wave to the teacher, like, hey, I'm not going to leave you in the lurch. And I sat in that area and I listened to the entirety of the person before me set. And then I went up, and I'm going to use the most overused word. No, I'm not going to say surreal. I'm not that weak. I'm not that guy. You go up and there's just a sense of expectation, like that you feel from the audience. But I felt more than nervousness, like that sense of power. Like they're there for you. They want to laugh. You know what I mean? Like they're not there to hate you. They are like, do your funny crap, clown man. And if you're prepared for it, like they're ready to roll with it. Now, this is the most primed audience if I pursue stand-up, this is the most primed audience I will enjoy for several years.
It's going to be a long time.
I have many an open mic with an indifferent man eating a gyro and drinking a cider ahead of me.
Who did you guys have there watching?
You. Yeah, my girl asked repeatedly to go, and I was like, the last goddamn thing I want to have to do is worry about you in the crowd alone. Like, I mean, she's not like a toddler or something. I didn't think she'd like wander off and get Jean Benet, but
a nice part of DC.
Yeah, exactly. They would classy kill her. But I didn't want any plates in the air. I'm like, you're an adult, you can handle yourself. A couple other friends asked, and I was very much in passing. I was like, if you want to come here, but like, honestly, don't talk to me, really. Don't tell me you're coming. Like, a couple months from now, when I've done this 10 times, I don't care if you give birth and bring the effing stirrups to do it in the audience while I'm on stage. But like my first time, I just want to focus on this. This is about me. This is as selfish as I get, but that's what I want.
That's 100% how I feel. In fact, the last couple of performances I've had, I haven't invited anybody. I tell my family that I'm doing it, and then they're like, oh, cool.
This goddamn thing called YouTube that exists. You're going to see the clip in 3 days. And besides, like half of the people I want to see, pretty much you, and then Pete and Othman, who are in the crowd already. So I don't give an F.
And the motivation behind that for both you guys then is this sense of, I just need to be up doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I can't be concerned about who's here or who I'm talking to.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I will get into my head, and I need to be in like a free space because I'll do like an improv show, and I really won't invite anybody that like I've gotten really close with yet. Like if I knew somebody from like another comedy class or something, I would say like, hey, I'm doing this. We're not like super tight, so whatever you think about me is whatever. But yeah, if there's people I know, I'm like, I'm not getting my head about that before I do this.
3 performers in advance of me, I went out in the hall and I did my entire set to myself one more time, like a goddamn autistic. Like I wouldn't have enjoyed walking past my girlfriend and having to like juggle woozle wuzzle, and perform for her. Oh, can I get you any onion rings, my lady? Before, like I didn't need that on my conscience. Like I want to just walk out, focus. Again, hopefully this becomes so rote for me that like a year from now, I don't give a damn what you do.
Sure.
Like,
I'll always take onion rings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But during that initial thing, I just wanted to focus on my own crap. And you go up, and it was great because I could worry all about me, which is, I'm great at that, by the way. Like, as long as I am the center of my own tiny little universe, perfection.
It was good. I can't wait to see it. And by the way, guys, yeah, like John said, we are going to have the tapes soon, and sometime later this week we will be putting them up
I'll
on
upload.
YouTube on the channel.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So,
what did you think of my performance?
More important than your performance is why did I waste my Wednesday night if I just could have watched it on YouTube a week later?
Oh, exactly.
I will say,
Onion rings and drinks.
and
I
I say
have
he owes you
said-
$10.
I know you've said, but say it again. Like you haven't.
Material aside, the actual stuff that people were talking about, their comedy writing aside, in my opinion, you were by far the most polished and had the best presence on the stage,
Oh,
where you looked like someone who had been doing this a long time. You looked comfortable up there. You knew your cadence. I would imagine some of it's from the radio show, but the material was obviously good too. I know I had heard some of it ahead of time, so I knew.
you see porn stars, this is
You
how
might-
you S a D.
I was gonna say you might want to sit, John. We can all
Yeah,
We
exactly.
can all see it.
I'm pulling a Pete into the camera right
Hey,
now.
I just want to get
Wow.
on this show again.
Yeah.
Um,
And then the second best was Pete.
but the stage presence was incredible.
Thank you, sir.
I was probably mesmerized a little bit. I know you thought the hoodie did it, but the nipple's still showing through.
Nice.
So I couldn't help but
Was the milk visible?
That's what did
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Oh, God.
yes.
Didn't want people to know I just given birth, but okay.
What did you think? What did you think when you were done? What did you think the day after? You know, when you had some time to think about it.
I think, okay, in the heat of it, all I did that I felt was wrong was swap the order of two lines, and I caught myself and delivered them, and it still got a huge laugh. So I was like, they didn't notice.
Can I ask for people who are going to watch it on YouTube in a few days?
Yes.
What are those two lines? Do you remember?
Okay, sure. So kind of the way I organized the act, it's a 5-minute, 2.5 minutes dedicated to me hating my job as a locksmith. And I close with that being a very uneffable job, like a janitor or trash man. And then 2.5 minutes living at home. And kind of the pivot point is I say, it's an uneffable job.
Mhm.
Not that that's the most uneffable thing about me. I live at
Mhm.
home. I could tell you guys right now, I was going to join ISIS after the show, and at least one girl would be into that, yada, yada. And I screwed it up, and I said, it's an uneffable job. And then I just went right into, I could tell you guys I was going to join ISIS. And then I leapfrogged to,
Completely interchangeable, dude.
I guess, like, not to say
100%.
that being a locksmith is the most uneffable thing about me. And I could tell it was still going well because there's like a couple screwable girls up front, the only kind of girl I care about. And I said, not to
The ones
say
that are
that
comedy shows.
locksmith is being the only uneffable thing about me, because apparently I'm Norm Macdonald when I perform on the show. And I
they
just
were
heard,
like, we could think of plenty.
oh yeah, exactly. You fat F!
We've got pen and pad.
You're fat and your tiny dick's visible, or should I say invisible?
Your nipples are bigger.
I've
Yeah.
never met a man with nipples bigger than his dick.
Yeah.
This is really weird. And they're both producing white fluid.
So I say, not to say that being a locksmith is the most uneffable thing about me. And there was like one girl up front, and I heard an audible, oh no. And that's how I
It gets
knew
worse.
I was in. I was like, okay, they're digging the set.
Yeah.
Like when I heard that, I kind of started laughing on stage myself. Like that's what I was like, oh God, it's that bad.
So you remember the act. It wasn't like where you blacked out for 5 minutes and then
No, this wasn't a woman having sex with me. It was
No, there are parts of it when you're on stage that you can remember. Like there are parts where I didn't remember at all. But when there's like maybe like an audience participation, I feel
how
like
black was she? That I did not appreciate.
I feel
that.
like it just hit me immediately, and I was processing it like at 100 times speed, but I still kept doing my set. But I think there was a couple times where I was getting through some stereotypes, and they were like, oh lordy. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So there are a little like there was like one chick that was actually probably the same one that was audible for you that was in the front. And she was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And
I
then,
like
but I would,
whoever this chatty Cathy was, she made our night.
yeah. And I was like, all right. Well, I was like, because like from the right half, they were digging it. But I think it was those 2 Asian chicks that were in the front.
I was good. Okay, it was an Asian girl.
Right? Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I thought it was an Asian girl that said it. Okay, goddamn, I was not hallucinating that. I looked down when I heard it and I was like, is she Asian or the lights bright?
And like when I was like screaming, you could see that they were into it, but like visibly like maybe like a little bit uncomfortable or something.
Okay.
I don't know. I still really dug it. Like it did help the set because I wanted to kind of set a tone that was like, yeah, this is all like a little touchy.
Oh, yeah.
Pete, did it help you too? Because you said you were at some point screaming. You had some.
I was like, y'all fucking suck.
You're gonna dig that up and you're gonna bleep it your own damn self.
Yeah.
You had a lot of the comics were a little bit more subdued. You had a lot more energy than a lot of them.
I certainly did.
Does improv help that? How do you?
I think so.
I would be uncomfortable.
I think so, and I also think when I was getting into it, and I've told people this before.
Also, cocaine suppositories.
100%. That. Oh God, I thought of something really gross.
Can't be worse than the F word you just dropped.
Yeah. What it looks like when you pull them out. I don't know.
No. Well, that's because like when you put the line on, like if you were to snort it off of somebody's, you just sit on it.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. Trust me, my set's better than that. The improv actually did help, but another thing that helped was I sort of imagined it like
they were all naked.
Telling, because mine was a story more.
Right.
Like mine really wasn't like it wasn't like here's a joke, turn, here's a joke, here, turn. It went from one point to the end, and
you needed the whole thing.
And yeah, and everything was still there. I sort of felt like it was like being in front of like a large group and like explaining like it's dumb, but like you ever hear like they'll have like really good jokes that kill in like a TED talk or something like that, or like a Moth radio hour. I kind of had that in my mind. Yeah, and I'm basically ready for a TED talk on how to do stand up. So.
Go ahead, John.
I was just gonna say, so you're making the analogy of likening stand up to performing on a stage in front of a large group of people.
Basically,
it's a real reach.
Telling a story to a large group of people from a stage with a mic.
But it's because it's different. Like I don't know. I still find it different. Not having like sectioned jokes and then like it goes to like a whole different point. I mean, mine stayed with one theme the entire time. And
am I wrong that you were the only person that did that?
I think I was the only person who did that. Yeah.
Did a legit long form story. Well, I know we teased that we would do the Mike Pence thing. The whole damn episode, we were getting the wrap it up signal from outside.
Here's what we have to say about it.
Yeah, you guys say the important stuff while I work toward the.
Oh no, this is a pretty good and pretty easy wrap up. It's not important, guys. Stop worrying about it. Seriously.
Correct. And Trump's demand for an apology is just more of him looking for
just attention.
And tweets.
It's like, don't worry about it. Why would you ever just bother about that? One, Mike, you shouldn't have been there. You know that they're like the biggest Hillary supporters in the world. I mean, also you could have been there, but it's not it's not their fault if they.
But you're at a Broadway musical where black people are playing white founding fathers.
Exactly,
you might imagine they didn't vote for you.
It might be a little weird.
If Tim Kaine got booed at the Blue Collar Comedy Tour,
yes,
no one would be lifting an eyebrow. You would simply say, that's what happens.
Right.
Exactly.
Slow news day, folks.
She was asking for
slow news day.
Pretty much.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, I am wearing, and if you're looking on the YouTube, you can see a Dirty Tissues t-shirt, and we have plenty of them. So
how about you explain that instead of them thinking that is the material it's made out of?
It is. See, now the thing is, I use this shirt to wipe up my own mess, and you guys can have your own because I do it to all my shirts. No, it's Dirty Tissues. It is John Papa Giorgio's very first comic, and I have a boatload sitting in my house that I need to get rid of. They will be free, so just ask for them, and I will hook you up. Let me know your size. I probably don't have the right one. There's only there's a few of each.
These were meant. We bought these with knowledge of our audience. So there's like
if you're large, 18, it's probably in luck.
X large is as small as it gets.
Yeah, right. No, there is. I found one small So one lucky lady out there is going to get my dirty tissues.
All right, folks. This is Papa's Basement. I'm John Papa Giorgio. Show's website, inpapasbasement.com. Every episode we've ever done is up there. Please hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, at Papa's Basement. Find us on iTunes and Stitcher and YouTube and subscribe there. You guys do your pluggies.
Hey, I'm Pete Maybe. I'm at Pete Maybe on Twitter. I'm maybe not on Tumblr. I am that Pete Maybe on Instagram. Also, you can start following me on the Duffel blog, as I am now a writer there. So that's pretty exciting. And you can go ahead.
You can follow me at The Real Donald Trump.
We're home free. School's out, baby.
Good show.
Nothing.